Hello people who don't know gaming here and welcome back to F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, and we've got a sponsor renewal right here. I think we're gonna actually renew it because we did rather well with it. It's only completing 75 laps I think it was for, so we just renew it there. Now let's go on to what we're going to be doing with our time before. I think it's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Yeah, we're going to be racing at Baku. So we're going to do a sponsor event fundraiser. Then we're going to do chassis department focus. And then attend an F1 esports event. That seems like a good idea. Here we are at the end of our first qualifying lap for qualifying 1. It puts us P4 at the moment. A 142 dead. Pretty good, I would think. That gets us through to Q2. I'm not expecting to do much more, but we do a quicker lap than Q1, putting us P4 again, but at the end of the session we're only P12, so not able to get through to Q3. But P12 is pretty good. I don't know if there's anyone with penalties or something to let us get up, but who knows.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A fourth row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Here we are on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And away we go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We get a pretty good start, but then Giovinazzi covers off the inside a bit much, and then we dive down the inside after he pulls to the left. Right, sorry. And we get a good drive through turn 1. We're going side by side with Sergio Perez as we go through turn 2. But he's going to get a better exit, but we are keeping it side by side. We actually put it into overtake and rich mix. As I said, I'm making a video that explains quite a few of these things, but here we are side by side with Perez as he gets back passed through turn 3, and we go for a little bit of a look in turn 4, but nothing going there. And that puts us really on the back foot to Giovinazzi right behind us, but hopefully through this chicane bit we can catch back up to Perez and maybe get it past him. It's going to be really hard with his Mercedes power and the racing point always being rather good in the straight line. Going through this castle section, this is going to be for less experienced drivers, that's going to be an end of many races. Here we are for this off-board shot as we take a look down Sergio Perez here. We get alongside through turn 1 now, and we get past him right at the braking zone, but he is going to come back at us for turn 2. We give him room, not too much room so he gets past, but just enough so we don't collide and he doesn't hit the wall. Now we need to try and catch up to Lando Norris in the McLaren ahead. This track has been a bit of an odd one for us because through all of turn section the chassis has been rather good, but when you get to that final long straight we just can't really have the speed that much, and if we put the wings down too much we lose too much time in the turns. and we don't even gain that much on the straight. So it's a bit of an odd one, as we lock up a little bit going into the section right before Castle. Now we're onto the start finish now. Perez got back past us, but that's nothing we can do about that.
In this lap, push now.
Now we're on to the finish, well, the end of our first stint, going on to another set of soft tyres, I think, at the end of lap 7 now. Hopefully we don't get undercut by anyone, but who knows. As we have a Mercedes of Hamilton pull out right in front of us. Luckily we didn't get to slow down because of him coming out. We really need a good fast pit stop, but I doubt we're going to get that. Yeah, we get a 2.8 second stop, what isn't the fastest. Really, I'm hoping for like a 2.4 or something like that, but 2.8 is better than having a 3-second stop. As we come out a little bit behind Norris now, 1.5 seconds, but he is on the hard compound tyres, what means he's going to go to the end of the race. We're going to have to make another pit stop. So we need to try and get past Lando Norris and make a big enough of a gap, so when we come out of the pits we can catch back up to him, or at least stay ahead of him. Here we are at the end of lap 8 now. We are about to go into the start finish straight. We're going to have ERS, Rich Mix and hopefully DRS, so we can try and get past Lando Norris here. But he's also going to have DRS on Carlos Sainz, so who knows what's going to happen through here. Maybe 3 wide, could be. The gap seems to be not changing that much, but at the end of it, we're going to try and dive down the inside of Lando Norris. No, we don't. Just too far back, and Gasly is holding him up quite a lot now, so we get to have a little bit of a look down turn 2, but nothing going there. But we get a good drive out of turn 2. We got DRS, Rich Mix, overtake mode, as we get squeezable by Norris. No. Yeah, Norris and Gasly, but we get past both of them. I think they collided a little bit there, but I'm not too sure. I kind of missed it in the rearview mirror. But now we need to try and catch back up to Sainz and get past him. But luckily he's going to get held up by George Russell just ahead of him. Here we are on the start finish straight again. This is going to be like where all the overtakes are happening, because it's just too tight everywhere else. So it's going to be a bit like, not Azerbaijan, we're at Azerbaijan. It's going to be a bit like Vietnam. And there's just nowhere really to overtake other than that really long straight. And here we have a yellow flag in this zone. Looks like Hamilton is having an engine failure. What must mean that he's just out the race now. As we get real close to the inside there, clipping our front wing. But we are getting really close to Sainz and Grosjean. Grosjean seems to be holding him up, but as we get onto this long straight, that Ferrari engine is going to give him a lot of help. But he's probably not going to have enough downforce. Well, he's probably going to have too much drag to really pull away. As we come through the final real corner. It's not called the final corner, but everyone sees it as the final corner because these are just flat out. We jump a little bit further ahead there. Lap 10. We're going to try and get past Grosjean, but he is rather far ahead, but he doesn't have DRS, so we do get past him as we take a look on Sainz as well, but he's just too good on the brakes. We can't dive from him. Here we are on lap 12 now. Sainz is actually catching up to Raikkonen now, but Raikkonen is coming into the pits for, I think, maybe his first stop. I doubt he's making his second stop already. And we do get a dive bomb on Sainz, so that should put us ahead, and maybe we can pull away and try and make a gap. But as we are on to lap 15 now, he really hasn't given us any room to pull away, and now we're going to be pitting in again for our final stint onto the medium compound tyres. a little bit of a lock up as we try and come in, like trying to like go in as fast as we can, but not get a speeding fine. Well, speeding penalty. As we come in, can we get a faster stop than we did before? No, 3.2 seconds. That is rather slow stop, to be honest.
No more scheduled pit stops.
Even slower than the one we had at the start of the race, but now this is all us having to try and push back up to where we were. We're at P16 at the moment. Hopefully some of the cars ahead will like come into the pits as well, but who knows what strategy the AI are doing. Here we are, like right behind Magnussen on lap 16. He seems to be going rather slow, but that might be because he didn't have any like slipstream to help him go faster on the straight. But he does have DRS, and he's not gonna be much of a challenge for us. We just breeze past him, and now we need to get onto Giovinazzi and get past him as soon as possible, and then try and catch up to Gasly ahead of him. But let's focus on Giovinazzi right now. We're in the slipstream, we have DRS, we only just put in to overtake, and we're going to have this nice off-board shot as we go around the outside of Giovinazzi. We push him rather tight and he loses the rear end a bit. I think we like clipped his front right, what gave him a little bit of a spin. Now we're here at lap 18 now, right behind Gasly. Gasly doesn't have anyone to get DRS from, so we're going to try and do the same move we did around Giovinazzi. Just go around the outside of turn 3 and just get it done with the fresher compounded tyres. We actually have Stroll coming out now. Stroll is on a new set of soft tyres, but we're on the mediums. What I've done quite a few laps by now, so I doubt we're going to be able to keep up with him. But we are going to try our best to try and keep up, stay in his DRS, and then just get past him if we can. We actually have a Renault ahead of us. I'm not quite sure who it is. It probably is Daniel Ricciardo. Yes, it is Daniel Ricciardo. He's on the medium compound of tyres, but I think he's on a rather similar strategy of what we are. So those medium tyres aren't going to be very old, but they will start wearing as we get closer to the end of the race with only 6 laps remaining. But both Racing Points are really trying to just bully their way past Ricciardo, but we're going to try and get into the action here and try to just push our way through all 3 of them. I doubt we're going to be able to do that. But we do have ERS, Rich Mix and DRS, so we're going to make it 3 wide as we go into turn 3 now. We get a little look at Ricciardo and we make a little bit of contact with the Racing Points. And the way they come across the track, we just have to like slow down and just let both of them back past. And we get real close to the rear tyre of one of them and almost clip our front wing. And we do a little bit of a lock up as we go through that little chicane, and this is just helping Kvyat catch back up. And that is not anything good. Kvyat is right behind us now with his fresh, soft, compounded tyres. But we are going to get DRS on Perez here. Like, Perez has seemed to let Stroll get rather far ahead, I think, because he didn't have DRS anymore. And then Stroll is just trying to keep up with Ricciardo. I'm really surprised by. I thought the Racing Point would just be able to breeze past that Renault. But now we need to try and be as fast as we can. As I think that's a Pierre Gasly got fastest lap of the race. Well, it's a big surprise, but I guess he must be on a new set of like soft compound tyres. And here we are trying to make a bit of a gap to Kvyat, but he's just in our DRS, so we can't really make a big enough gap as he's trying to battle with Perez and get past him. But I really wouldn't expect like him getting past Perez, but Perez must be on a really old set of hard compounded tyres, and they're just not lasting very well. They're probably really worn and been on the car for a decent like 10 laps or so now. Here we are on lap 22, getting real close. Kvyat is to our rear end. He's only half a second behind, what means he is going to get DRS next time when we get to the DRS zone, unless we can pull away through this like middle section. but I doubt it because of how like worn our tyres are slowly getting. Now that's a problem with our car at the moment. It seems to use up its tyres way too quickly. And now here comes Kvyat side by side as we go into turn 1 of lap 23 now. He actually gets past us, but we're going to get him back on the brakes and try and use the more flowing line around the outside. So we get to keep the position, but we only have 3 more laps left. We need to try and just hold him off for another 3 laps, and then that should be fine. Here we are on lap 24 now, just starting it, and we have him real close. He's been closer than he has been at any other lap. Like only 2 tenths behind as we went across the start finish. And here he is, he's just already a bit alongside there, but we use a bit of overtake and Rich there. But he's still just getting too close, and we don't really have much fuel or ERS to play around with, so we're going to have to try and save it up for the start finish straight to make sure he doesn't get past.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
And as you can hear, Jeff is saying that about the grip levels falling away as we get like Kvyat getting really feisty there, looking around the outside, but he just no room there. He actually tries a bit of a dive through that corner, and that's given us a big gap now. He's actually 1.2 seconds behind, so if we can keep him there, we can keep him out of the RS. We go a really slow castle section compared to him, and he actually is closing the gap a little bit, but it's going back up as we go through this fast, like, multiple left-handers. But he is like within a second, and that's just going to mean he's going to have DRS down this whole straight once we get to it. But we're using a bit of overtake, but we can't use any Rich because we don't have enough fuel left. We only have 0.04 laps of fuel, and that's just not enough to be using Rich at the moment. So I don't think points are on the cards even now, so because Ricciardo is so far ahead. Here we are on lap 25, entering the castle section. Kvyat is really close now. This is really getting rather tense, and it's really gonna be a photo finish maybe because of how close he is, and he's gonna try everything to get past us on these next 2 times down the long straight. But as you can see, he's getting real close, but not close enough. We hopefully can keep him out. He is half a second behind, so the DRS can't be that powerful to close half a second. Well, that's what I'm hoping at the moment. But he is getting real close, real fast, as we don't have any fuel mixes or ERS to play around with. We try putting in overtake for this little bit, and we're going to try and have to dive down the outside again, locking up that front left, getting a more flowing line, and just getting past him because he's compromised taking that tighter line. And now we're going to have to try and use some ERS here, get away from him, as this is another DRS zone. There's 2 DRS zones down this, straight in between turn 2 and turn 3, and down that start finish straight after the little kinks on the straight. As we're coming into this little chicane section here, he gets real close in the braking zone, but hopefully we can pull away in this traction zone. But as you can see, there was a little bit of movement with the tyres there. And we're just trying to keep him as far behind as we can as we try and take this castle section for the final time. Take it as quick as we can, but try and not hit the walls or anything, because last thing we want is to lose front wing end plates as we go through this final fast flat out section here. We brake a little bit later than normal, and we actually hit the wall there, losing an end plate on that corner, what's really going to make this final section really difficult, and we might have to lift a couple times through this section. As we put in overtake and rich, we're gonna really go to the mark with like how much fuel we can use. We actually hit the side of the wall again with the other, like losing the other like end plate or something. But he is getting really close. We're gonna try and just like stay in a straight line as straight as we can. We take a look to our right. Did we hold him off for long enough? Yes, we did. We get P11, only just holding him off, and that was a pretty good and intense finish. So here we are, P11, we started P12, so we only made up one position, but I don't think that's that bad. Like, finishing P11 on this really like high power track, it's as good as we could get. And I doubt Ragunathan did much better. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, like slap the like, and I'll see you in the next video.